Hey guys, I hope you guys have been having a marvelous 2-3 weeks. I'm sorry I haven't been posting, honestly. Where do I even begin? So, I don't feel authentic, and I feel like some of the things that I posted really matter. Is that just common knowledge? And I just kept telling myself in this headspace of like those negative thoughts. So I've kind of been in the process of doing shadow work, removing some karmic connections, struggling, balancing feminine, and masculine energies, because I am normally a very masculine energy type of person. That is just naturally how my soul is. So in this lifetime, my soul presents itself more as masculine. I present myself off as more as masculine. I grew up with older siblings, specifically older brothers, so I was a tomboy. I never liked getting girly, and I've been struggling with my femininity. I've been struggling so hard to heal traumatic experiences and forgive, and just all this anger is coming out, all these emotions, and it is just like the moment I know it gets overwhelming and it's like you want to cry, I can't cry. For whatever reason, I cannot cry. Maybe I can tear up and, maybe something will do it, and then something else in my brain will trigger to be like, why are you crying over this? Like, just because it hurts doesn't mean that there is better things for you to do than cry over something that was so long ago, or dealing and removing contracted ties, into this life that does not serve my higher purpose, other than the fact to teach me a lesson for a detrimental purpose that is not meant to come to fulfill my highest evolution. Because sometimes we do have that as people who come in because you didn't learn the lesson, so now they have to come in and learn how to give you that lesson in a worse way, so you finally wake up. So I have just been to the point where I'm ready just to say, screw it. On top of that, I've had other beings that have played with my line of sight. So I am clairaudient at an extent. I'm clairvoyant at an extent. So currently right now, my senses are on overdrive spiritually because of the fact that I'm dealing with more clear sentience as well. Sometimes I can feel touch, telepathic communication through touch. I'm seeing auras flicker on and off. The weirdest thing is going again, like starting another spiritual awakening, because you start it in stages. So I am currently going through an awakening again after the beginning of this month, after a karmic contract has deaded itself, after I asked it to be removed and cut the cords of attachment. And I opened my root and I just kept thinking, we all suffer from great loss and great pain, but throughout it all, if you don't talk about it, especially with someone, like, you meet a lot of people in your daily life, and you meet other people that you're not even meant to meet in this life, but you talk on the internet, you talk on the phone, you talk over text, whatever, communication, and you think, I want this person in my life. You don't have to meet them. And then, what was it, last week or the week before, I had an experience. My mother ended up going to a place where she usually gets her rocks, or this metaphysical crystal shop. And she ended up signing up for a class thingy, I guess, that was like a test trial for a medium to come through. And she had, and obviously I went with her because she had never read me before, and she ended up telling me about a past life which was significant to my life purpose in this life. So anybody who knows me knows that when it comes to Nikola Tesla and Edison set us back about 150 years when it came to technology. Being the fact that if we went with Tesla's design, we would actually be propelled by at least 400 to 1,000 years ahead of our time if Tesla's inventions would have stuck around and been of use. Edison set us back where we're now finally discovering this for our own self. So I've always kind of felt like Edison was a total douchebag. You know, I'm a very avid history lover. Edison is one of the few people, historical people in my belief, that was an absolute fucking nightmare. Pardon my language. Like I said, my cursing is not for everyone. Is a fucking douchebag in a nightmare situation. And I didn't realize until she had told me that, she goes, I worked with both Edison and Tesla in this past life, but Edison paid more. So my former self or former vessel switched to Edison, and I helped do the experiments, including the infamous elephant from P.T. Barnum's circus that went rampage that they ended up electrocuting. Not proud of that one, but still kind of dealing with that soul anger and that past life anger that sometimes bleeds through. And they say, and I want to tell you, it can happen. Empathically, it can happen that you can have memories of your soul of a former life that you've lived in the past life system, whatever you have going on, that bleed through here and there. This is the second time this has ever happened to me. The first time was the story I was telling you about, the general who ordered mass execution under Pharaoh's command to save his own family, which, mind you, when I replayed that memory, it even showed me that after he kept her safe, their son safe, she ended up leaving him because she felt ashamed that he would rather protect her and her son versus protect the families, you know, give a greater life than protecting his own personal gain, his own interest, his own love. And it was so heartbreaking to see that. And I felt that pain. And yes, it does happen, even though they say you should not be revisiting. It's just reminding yourself that was a past life. This is not your current life now. So these are not meant to be in your life. Is finding the distance and the balance and the determination to be like, this is not going to affect me. I'm not going to allow this to affect me. So with me switching up and reawakening to my purpose, yes, I still do tarot. I still give intuitive messages. I still will be doing this. It's just I want to find a more authentic path where I can help accelerate other people to their healing processes, to opening up. I think the weirder thing since I started opening up is I keep seeing, metaphors. So the weirder thing is I remember having a dream where I was standing in a cave and it was completely like pitch black and there was like no like roof to this. So I'm like looking out at the stars and it wasn't like the Milky Way. It was like a reverse image of like a different galaxy, I guess. Because I didn't recognize the stars that we currently would see. It was a completely different star system. And in there, like in this cave system, I was standing in the middle of this giant stone circle and my hands started producing black flame. And what it was like, weirdly enough, I've heard people tell me that my personality and just how I am when it comes to spirit reminds people of a very superhero-ish, because I have the abilities that I have, even in the past. Sometimes I was kind of negligent, but those flames reminded me of Shigo from Kim Possible with her green flames that came out, or her plasma fists, whatever you want to call it. It was like that. And then I was talking to my mom about it, and the flames represented, they could have been a different color, but they made it seem like it's like the stage of awakening, because black absorbs all colors. So therefore, all of the colors will burst out when it's ready. The black flame is just like the pod or the shadow. That lightness is already in there. It's just you have to accelerate that lightness to come out, that flame to come out. So it's like a pod system that the real treat is in the pod. You basically have to open it up. So we were talking and I was describing it and I heard the voice. These flames were like talking to me. So remember the story of Moses talking to God through the burning bush? Like, I swear to God, swear, and I don't usually do this, and I'm sorry for everyone who is, they do believe in God of any kind. That is the metaphor that they got me to use to awaken to that, to be like, oh, you're awakening right back up to your abilities that you've had that lay have dormant, but you need to pick these up again, you know? So a lot of people don't realize when you have kids or you are a kid, you have natural spiritual abilities that up until like the age of like 6 or 7, unless it's shut down at a later date when they start like 2-3 years old, we are conditioned to keep that hidden, or to basically be like, no, this is not right, you know what I mean? So we shun away from that. And then there are this few people who, they keep that, you know, and I was one of the lucky few, and I hope that you guys are the lucky few as well, reawakening to this. I grew up spiritual. My mother was spiritual. She had like 20 something years of dealing with spirit herself before she had me at 26, 25, 26. And I grew up very fortunate to live in a household where her and I had to keep that secret because other people in the household didn't believe in it. They believed in religion or something. So her and I were hush-hush having conversations. But she encouraged me to explore my spiritual side. And so I'm thankful for that. And I wish all people would have that. So if you have kids who are attributing and showing signs, and I'm sorry, if you are showing signs of spiritual awakening, or these gifts are starting to come out, especially in children, do not turn them away, please. Like, we need them to advance our next evolution of spiritual gifts and our purposes in life. Please, please, please allow them to feel safe in your environment to tell people what they see or what they feel or what they're dreaming about or what they feel, because we need that to be taught again how to uncondition ourselves, to open ourselves up to spiritual receptibility. I know this is kind of like a long update, but this is where I've been. Like, I've been struggling to sit down and do content, and I've tried numerous times in the last like 2-3 weeks to sit down and like make a video, and I'm staring at a screen talking and just being like even tarot, like, it was blank, and which is not normal, because making a video is one thing, but giving readings, I'm not like that. And I don't do that during readings, like, to feel troubled or just stuck, because like anybody who knows me, and you can talk to various different readers, I personally do not ask you questions. I personally ask you to thought project into the cards or send it to the universe and let the universe send it back to me. So there is no form of bias where I can tell you like, oh, this person is doing this to you, because for whatever reason I don't get anything off of a card and I'm just going to let you indulge your wounds. You're paying me. No, that's not how I am. That is a neglectful use of an ability, because I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to tell you the truth the way Spirit wants you to. Right or wrong, Spirit wants this out. And I cannot tell you otherwise and be biased, because that would basically be me neglecting your truth, but neglecting my spiritual truth as well. But yeah, like I said, I've been dealing with a couple things. Like, tarot is my form of divination. Everyone has like a divination form that they're really good in. Some are like mediums. Some are this and that. Back to the whole thing with the medium, when she read me, she struggled with it for about 5 minutes because she couldn't get a reading. And she was telling me that there were some things that kind of hurt, being the fact that I felt neglectful to my spiritual side, being a farrier for spirit, you know. And I've known about being a farrier since I was a little kid, and that's something that I do, you know what I mean, to help others thrive and to help them move on. But what got me for the last 8 months in March, specifically when I was going through my awakening the last week, that pink moon that we had in February of that last week or whatever, is what awoke in me. And to this stage, to tarot, to start doing tarot, was telling me, like, March, there was a troubled soul that had committed suicide after coming out as gay, and his ultra religious Spanish family did not accept that. So he committed suicide after losing a baseball scholarship, on top of that coming out as gay, and they rejected him. And he was around for 8 months, and she was saying that it wasn't parasitic, it wasn't changing energy, but was there waiting for me to take him. And I couldn't even sense him, I couldn't feel anything, I never heard anything. It was because I was too tunnel vision on my own focus, on my own healing, that I neglected another soul. And it wasn't until a medium came through a couple weeks ago to tell me this, that this soul actually had to be ferried across. And I felt like ferrying may not be for me anymore. You know what I mean? It may be time to hold, up my shadow chains, for the negative souls in the world, and just focus on healing myself and healing others to help them out. But a part of me just felt like, how do I have a spiritual gift if I'm not using it for the betterment of others? Not just myself, but others. And the fact that I've been that tunnel visioned, and I just kept thinking, what else did I miss? What else could I have done? And I just kept thinking, what if, and adding more stress and anxiety to myself. And I just kept thinking, no. Like, I haven't been able to sit down and meditate in a while. Like, rocks don't feel hot to me anymore. They tingle anymore. And I could be picking up, like, obsidian or picking up moldavite. I don't get a tingle off of it. And it's not just because it's like, oh, I'm not ready. It's just energy has not been flowing the way it is. It's blocked a bit. And that's all I kept thinking was, what else have I missed? What other connections have I missed that were meant to come into my life so I can help others and help ascend others and myself at the same time, if need be? And I just kept thinking, this is why I've taken this hiatus, is because I fully cannot take my job seriously to help others if I cannot take myself authentically serious. And that is how I've been feeling lately, is like, I don't feel authentic to myself because I'm constantly in a battle and a war with myself. And that needs to stop, because a war on the home front is it's a recipe for destruction. And that is what I've currently been dealing with. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I'm working on videos, I'm working on tarot, so all my information, if you're looking for getting a booking, just message me down below, message me on social media, whatever, email me, and we can get you set up. My prices have changed a bit, so usually I would do like $10 for 3 questions that you would ask, but for this general, I'm doing 5 questions for $20. And the reason this is so much is because I love to go in depth with your question and get as much as the angle as I need to get into through the channel and what your guides have to say. And if you have other meanings, my love readings are about $45. I have a past life reading that is about, price range is about $15 to $35, depending on how much we need to actually get in to the sole purpose of it and to see what's going on. And then I have, Ancestral, which is about $15. So this would talk about your ancestors or any of your past lives that are coming through in your higher conscious. And I'm also working on some healing spreads, some financial spreads, because I'm a freeform reader, meaning I don't like actually working with spreads. But sometimes spreads are useful to get information from the spiritual sense, so you're not overly whelming your ability or the channel itself if you're inexperienced. So that is who I am. I mean, some of you who have watched my tarot videos know that I just read cards if they fall out and just be like, hey, this is what I get. That is usually how my freeform works. So to be working with spreads is a bit challenging, and I enjoy a challenge. I enjoy conquering that challenge and actually boosting and keep practicing. There's a couple other things that I would like to do when it comes to developing my own spread that's not used by other people. It's specifically to me and to me alone, that I would love to teach other people how to use to get information out in a correct channel. But thank you everybody for watching this. I love you guys. Peace, love, and happiness. Be safe and be sweet to yourself.